ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 13 of the 5th Custom Mail-In Tournament. We are still very much in the preliminaries. And in the first group, it's Spritzy Rose, Saul the Great, Ed and Eddie, and Anita Lee. The race begins, and here we go. It is Ed and Eddie currently out in front. It does make you wonder, again, how many of those three are driving that vehicle, or is it just one of them? And if so, which of the three? So far they have the lead. They make the jump, grinding over the rail and heading into the other lane as they start going backwards, getting pushed along. Will they end up finishing in first? They keep getting pushed, but they come to a complete stop and they do not finish. They get stuck and they're actually slowly heading back the other way. A very promising start, not so great a finish though. The other three seem to have at least a cleaner landing. And Ed and Eddie, they were trying to do all this different blocking, but unfortunately they did a little too much, and they fell just short of the finish line. So Anita Lee will get the first win, followed closely behind by Saul the Great. Now for race number 2. Ed and Eddie does have a slight lead, but they're slowly losing it to Anita Lee. Lane split, they are separated for now, but it looks like Ed and Eddie might still have a slight edge over them. And that remains true as the lanes merge back together. Ed and Eddie has a much better landing, but then they flip over going around the bend, and Anita Lee gets another lucky break and finishes in first. Saul the Great in second. In fact, the only person that didn't finish was Ed and Eddie. They start off really well, and then they just can't seem to save themselves. You should really wonder, is speed always the greatest factor if you don't have good control to go with it? So Spritzy Rose managed to get some points on the board that time. Ed and Eddie, however, still has yet to do so. Now for race number 2, it is Anita Lee who has a slight edge this time. And they will not be separated from Ed and Eddie as they go around the lane split. But now Ed and Eddie has a bigger lead, and they head into the jump. A bit of a good landing, but can they stay on their feet this time? They do. But Anita Lee is coming up fast, and it looks like they might have finished at the same time. We're going to have to look through the replay yet again and then look to the judges to see who became the ultimate winner on that one, or will they both get 5 points? Meanwhile, Spritzy Rose is back there sideways right before the final turn. We had 2 non-finishers in the end. Will Anita Lee get another lucky break? This will be the 3rd one in a row. Let's see what the judges say. They are giving it to Ed and Eddie. So Anita Lee has been denied a sweep and a chance to stay undefeated. Saul the Great is still in a position to move on, but it could be Anita Lee or possibly Ed and Eddie, but we'll have to see. This race will ultimately decide it. So far, the 3 Eds are out in front. They make the jump, and they're staying towards the middle this time. And as a result, they are way out in front, and they manage to get the win. That could save them. Anita Lee finished in second, Saul in third. And now we're just wondering, oh, Spritzy Rose, this is a unique experience here. We have never seen anyone get stuck on the ramp, but they somehow managed to flip sideways, causing friction as they went down, and then they just ended up on their back before they got off the jump. That is the only time I believe that I've seen that happen. But Ed and Eddie managed to sneak their way into the finals today alongside Anita Lee, and now we have Jumping Berto, Son of Man, Wes Cosin, and Scooter. And now here we go. They're splitting up almost evenly. But now our friend closest to the camera, he is out in front by a decent amount too. Let's see how well they do with the jump. That is a very clean, smooth landing, and they stay on their feet. A very smooth finish, because they actually, while bouncing off the walls ever so slightly, they weren't really shaken by it, and they managed to get the win. But I believe we'll have two non-finishers here. And one of them is way up on the first turn. That has been not the most familiar place for people to stop, but some of them have done that. And you wonder why sometimes. Yeah, we will have two finishers, two non-finishers. Let's see if that remains consistent. Sometimes it can really depend on how you do that jump near the end. But in order to do that, you even need to actually get there. So it's a good start for Jumping Berto and Scooter, who are now in first and second again, respectively. Let's see if they can have history repeat themselves after that first race and do the same for race number 2. Jumping Berto looks to live up to their name, makes the jump, grinds a little bit, and spins sideways, slowing down significantly. That causes Scooter a perfect opportunity to go right around them and get the win. And then that finish will count. I believe as long as you break the plane in some capacity, you will get some points, or at least a point depending on where you finished. Jumping Berto did not finish, and Son of Man is still struggling to get through the first part of the track. This is a great moment for Scooter. They needed that for sure. Jumping Berto, however, had an unfortunate end to that race, with half of their vehicle over the side of the railing. West Coast, however, definitely needed that. And now here we go into the third race. Can West Coast capitalize on this opportunity? So far, it is Jumping Berto out in front once more. Everyone seemed to slow down except for Jumping Berto on that first turn. And now here they go, leading into the jump. Can they stay on their feet? They land face first, and they flip over. They do not stay on their feet. And Scooter tries to nudge them forward, but West Coast will be the only person to finish. West Coast definitely does capitalize on the opportunity. They took it, and they are the only person to get points. That will help them dramatically. Meanwhile, Scooter is stuck back there, and Son of Man in a very familiar spot now. Still can't get past that first part of the track. West Coast seems pretty nervous after the first race, but they have been taking every advantage that they've been able to find. And now that actually helps them tie for first in points. But they're not out of the woods yet. They still need to do better than either Scooter or Jumping Berto. If they can finish in front of either one of them, they may still be able to move on after that first fiasco. But Jumping Berto has the lead for the moment. It could all depend on how they do after that jump. Here they go, staying airborne, landing face first again, staying close to the middle, and they do finish in first. But who finishes in second? West Coast almost had it, but Scooter finished in second. Here comes Son of Man now. Can they finish? No, they will not, but that is the closest they've gotten. So they have at least that going for them. But it will be Scooter and Jumping Berto that will go into today's finals. Neither one of them is undefeated, however. I think the only person after all of this that will still be undefeated is Dusty Miles. And I don't think anyone's been able to beat N-Count's time of 10.77 yet. Oh, wait a minute, we have a tiebreaker here. Because West Cosin still managed to finish in third, we have a tiebreaker between Jumping Berto and West Cosin. I believe the way this will work is they will race twice, and whoever has the fastest time between the two will be determine the ultimate winner. For now, Jumping Berto has the lead, but if they don't stay on their feet, then that could open the door for West Cosin. They do stay on their feet, however, and they will finish in first with 11.47. West Cosin does finish, but right now it's just a matter of who finishes first and faster. Unless the rules are different and I was not aware. Either way, this is looking a bit better now for Jumping Berto. They switch lanes now, let's see what happens. Jumping Berto gets the lead. The lanes split, but they are sharing these lanes. And the lead seems to be extending ever more for Jumping Berto. West Cosin will need another lucky break, and this could be it. As he spins around and slows down, here comes West Cosin, but then he goes sideways, and he will not finish. Jumping Berto, this time is the one who gets the lucky break, and they will be the one to move on. And we will see how that comes into play in today's finals. That was a very close call. West Cosin was coming up fast, but then they lost control. So it'll be Jumping Berto and Scooter. And now for today's finals. Scooter and Jumping Berto alongside Ed and Eddie and Anita Lee. A couple of people here got very close to being eliminated, that being Jumping Berto and Ed and Eddie. So let's see if they take this opportunity to try harder than they ever have and move on to the next part of the tournament. So far, they are fighting for the lead, but Anita Lee is not far behind. They practically crash into each other. Jumping Berto almost flips over, but manages to steal the lead at the last moment, and all four racers have finished. That was a close one for sure. This is the kind of race that you want to see. All four racers finished, and it's looking good for Jumping Berto. At least for now. But they have to stay careful. Race number 2, Ed and Eddie currently holds on to the lead, but only by about half a length. And there they go into the lane split, and they are once more fighting for the lead. Let's see who's in front as the lanes merge back together. It is the three Eds, and they will have a better time going through that exit, and now they will grab the win. So no undefeated racers or sweeps today. Anita Lee finishes behind them, and then Scooter falls just short of the finish line. Let's see if they can remain consistent. Now I believe that leaves the two of them tied for the lead in points. It does. They are both at 8 points apiece. Anita Lee is back at 4, while Scooter only has 1 for the moment. Scooter will definitely need a miracle. Anita Lee has a chance, but they do need to pick up the pace a little bit. And that may be just what they're doing, because they were right alongside the other two. They might be in front of Jumping Berto, but we will see. No, they have lost some ground on them. The two of them jump at the same time. Ed and Eddie does a nose block, but that causes both of them to slow down. But the three Eds finish in first, Jumping Berto in second. Meanwhile, Anita Lee and Scooter, neither one of them finished. It looked like Scooter was coming up on Anita Lee and possibly did a nose block, but in doing so caused them to slow down to a stop as well. So it's pretty much guaranteed at this point that Jumping Berto and Ed, Ed, and Eddie are going to move on to the next phase of this tournament. But let's see what happens in this last race. Suddenly Jumping Berto is falling behind a little bit. But as the lanes split, they have made up some ground. But Ed, Ed, and Eddie is out in front here. And now they approach the jump solo. They almost skid sideways, but they correct themselves. Followed closely by Anita Lee and Jumping Berto. Anita does finish in second, but I don't think it's going to be enough at this point. And Scooter, having an unfortunate final round, does not finish yet again. From the looks of things, I believe it'll be Jumping Berto and Ed and Eddie who will move on. Let's check the final tallies just to be sure. Definitely an unfortunate finish for Scooter. But it is Ed, Ed, and Eddie and Jumping Berto moving on to the next phase of the tournament, adding 2 more to the roster for the next phase. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.